Joanne?
So
This is new up to the moment, and I'm gonna let Tony explain what he did because I wasn't there.
just as a clarification for public, sort of in contrast to board members, I had attended the main school management, the board chair pre-conference on the 23rd of October. And one of the things that came up at that meeting and in consultation with Steve Bailey with main school management, we want to be clear about our roles between being board members sort of versus being a private citizen. Not that we surrender rights as board members, but we have different access to deliberation on the agenda versus what we would have as a private citizen. So we're going to encourage citizens, any other members of the public to sign in there. And then what that does is helps the board members also stay focused on the agenda so that there's no surprises on the agenda. The agendas are published in advance so that public can have a chance to comment on them, and board members will have a chance to comment on each item during the agenda process as we move through that.
Thank you.
So,
I'm glad you went to that. I was unable to attend this time.
thank you.
Okey-doke. So before we begin, is there any public in attendance that wishes to speak? Because if not, we can forego the instructions about how to do it. Yes, okay. So do I need to read the instructions for you? You know, you've been here.
Yeah, I've been here a few times.
So, okay, so 2 minutes and sign in at the podium, if you wouldn't mind.
There's a paper up there already.
Yeah. So if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and do that if it's convenient to do it now. And then we can proceed. Want to make it as comfortable as we can. There's plenty of seats. There's back seats or, you know, the cheap seats or the front row, just like church.
Right.
Nice to see you, Jack. All right, while you're signing in, we'll begin our meeting. Welcome to our November 7th, 2024 regular board meeting. We will begin with our call to order and introduction of board members, beginning over here to my left.
Matt Lillibridge.
Joanne O'Brien.
Molly Rogers. Linda Caputo. Sage Scully.
Alyssa Tracy.
Becky Fless.
Tony Veet.
Kira Blodgett. Megan Carlson.
Sean Pogue. Barry Manning.
Michelle Tucker.
Jeff Hanley.
Administrative staff, please.
Beth Hopkins, Superintendent.
Steve Dostey, Facilities Director.
Nate Stubborn, Athletic Director.
Lauren Arnold, Principal at Gardner Area High School.
Angela Hardy, Director of Curriculum.
Karen Moody, Principal of Laura Richard School.
Katie Gould, Principal at Helen Thompson School.
Vicky Dugate, Principal at Riverview Community School.
Tiffany Cockrell, Principal at Pittston Randolph Consolidated School.
Sarah Boldick, Director of Special Services.
And Jerry McGuire, Director of Technology.
Thank you. And welcome to all of our staff that are here tonight. It's great to see all of you. Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Public comment, please.
We don't have to read that.
I got
No,
it.
we forewent.
Okay.
We're foregoing. And you've got the timer?
I do, when
Thank
she
you.
says who she already, I already know her, so go ahead, say who you are and where you're from, and I'll start.
My name is Christina Otts. I'm from West Gardner. I'm coming up here to speak. There's been a lot that's happened since the last time I've been able to get in here. So I'm gonna try to be quick and hope it doesn't come approved that I'm just going straight to the point. My first thing was appreciate the email that you sent out. It's nice to be able to have information directly from you guys, have communication, because that's half the problem with a lot of places, there's communication. One of the things though that I came up with was, I don't think it was actually specifically stated in the email, but it was said at one of the school boards that once members are elected to the school board, members are no longer representative of the towns they elected them, but that they represent the students within the district. And I understand the concept of that, but I want to make sure that it's also clear, because I went through the Title 28. There's a lot there. So I tried to skim through the things that pertain more to the school board. And the biggest things I kept on seeing was that even though the school board is to represent, represent and to come up with governing issues that pertain to our school district and trying to help steer us, it also stated in there that it required input from educators, administrators, parents, students, and community members. So I just want to make sure that we're emphasizing that this is a team effort, that yes, you are the ones that ultimately get the vote, but it's not just your input that counts. That's the biggest thing. The next thing that I was trying to get along was, I felt like that a lot of the hostility that's been coming up between parents and the school board is the fact that a lot of times it seems like the things are changing to take away rights, especially of teenagers, for the
10
parents' input. And that's everything that's come along, like whether or not you tell the parents if the kid's transgender or not, whether or not they get to say that they get the.
Thank you, Christina. Sorry.
It's, yeah, that was gonna come up.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Christina. And if at any time you'd like to chat, I'm more than happy to do
Okay.
that. And just so you know that the letter, the email was it was not just me, it was a compilation of experts besides me. And I fully 100% referred to the law, and those statements, some of them are directly out of the law book, but also if you read through, their parents are mentioned over and over. It's a partnership. We can't do any of what we do without parents. So, and parents have every right at any time to go in any school and get any information they want about their child. You can do that. And that's, teachers tell me, are you ever tired of parents asking? Please ask. And we'll do the best we can. We welcome all of that. So, but if you ever want to chat, I'm delighted to do that with you anytime. Anyone else for public comment? Then we'll move along. We have a really tight agenda tonight because we have promised the students that we would come to the play. So we have to be out of here by 6:30, so I'm going to move us along.
And Madam Chair, I'm going to be excused at 6 p.m. just because I'm doing ticket
You
sales.
are.
So I
Okay.
will miss the executive sessions, but I will be,
You'll.
I'm fine with
figure it
that.
out,
Yep.
and I'm
I'm
gonna
not
publicly
worried.
hand off the money for my. ticket.
Oh, very good. That looks good. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, That's for my
Yeah,
ticket.
sure. Thank you, ma'am. I will do that. Yeah.
Ticket and a snack.
Yeah.
Okay, review and approval of agenda minutes, prioritization of items, and alteration of the established agenda format sequence as needed.
Yes, under item 4, recognition and celebration, I would like to add Walmart and give a recognition to
Nice.
Walmart that I will explain. We have a retirement letter from Kathy Lavway, our literacy coach, that's effective June 30. We also have a resignation from Chad Strout as the assistant athletic director position. Under new business, we're eliminating the presentation from Healthy Communities of the Capital Area because we're so tight, they will come in another time and do that presentation. And then just under new board member orientation under reports, I added that there is that virtual meeting from MSMA on November 13th at 6 p.m. So those are my
Right.
changes. I would also, I guess I would add one more. We have under recognition, welcome of new board members, but we also have Jack here, so maybe we could say thank you to
Thank you to
Jack as
Jack.
well.
We can do that,
So-
yes. Yes, okay. Let's
So
see.
moved.
Thank you. Second, anywhere?
Second.
Second from Tony. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Approval of minutes from previous meetings, the regular school board meeting of October 3rd and the school board work.
Can I stop here?
You may.
Not everyone voted on that, so were there abstentions?
Oh, are there abstentions from?
Mary, I didn't see you. Was that an abstention?
No.
No, you vote in favor? Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. Approval of minutes of previous meetings, the school board meeting of October 3rd and the board workshop on the 17th of October. Motion to move. So moved and second by Molly.
Who was the first?
Tony. All right, questions or comments regarding that workshop? All those in favor? Thank you. Uh-huh. Recognition and celebrations.
I assume you wanted to do the first one.
Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't even reading. I was thinking about you. Okay, sorry about that. Tonight, we would like to welcome two new school board members. We have Barry Manning from Randolph and Michelle Tucker from Gardner. And if you can take 2 minutes or less and tell us a little about yourself, we'd love it. And welcome.
I have two children in the district that attend school, and I just want to try to make some kind of difference. There it is.
Perfect. That's why we're here. Michelle.
I am from Gardner. I have an adult daughter. We're in college together and I have the time to give back and serve, and that's why I'm here.
Thank you.
Welcome to both of you.
Yep, welcome. Okey dokey. Golf team or the rest as written?
I want to add just for a moment, yeah, we want to recognize the golf team. They were the Class B state champs this year. That's really exciting. We have Peyton Hodges, who was selected to be on the Portland Symphony Orchestra Children's Chorus, which is
Awesome.
amazing. What an accomplishment.
She's in drama, shocking.
Yeah.
Doing great things.
Shocker.
Yeah.
And I did want to let you know that we had someone from Walmart reach out to us this week, and they delivered 12 moving size boxes totaling $8,400 and plus worth of school supplies for MSAD11. So we are going through all of those boxes and trying to distribute them. It's top quality stuff, lots of pens and glue sticks and all of the things that oftentimes, teachers may be buying themselves. So they are, they'll be distributed hopefully soon, but it was an incredible donation and we're very, very appreciative.
Is it like that holiday that
Yeah,
we,
you go
like
through
around, December, that one specific?
And anyone who's an educator, you love those sort of things, the pens, right? The pencils, the
Sticky
markers.
notes
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Little
Can we
erasers.
send them a
Christmas.
formal thank you or something?
Yes,
Very
and Andrea has already
Awesome.
written up.
Great.
Before we move along, Jack, I want to recognize you. If I had known you were coming, we'd have, I don't know, had balloons or cupcakes or something soon, but for your service, I just want to say thank you. And you made such an impact on the board while you were here, and I am sorry that you're not up there. And my goal is to make you cry, but anyway. Your contribution is really noted and recognized.
Excuse me.
Yes.
On the issue of the Walmart thing, I think a letter of thanks from this committee would be
Oh, I just asked
Fine,
that. Did you
yes.
not hear me? Andrea, she said Andrea is going to be sending one. Yep.
okay.
We do
exactly.
have a letter. If you would like the board to also provide a letter, we can certainly do that on behalf of the board.
Yeah, I think we should. It's a
For sure.
wonderful gesture, and I think they need to be recognized by us for that.
Yeah, we can absolutely do that.
Thank you.
So you'll take care of that.
Yes, I
Amanda.
will take care of that.
Thank you. Correspondence as written?
Yes.
Okey-doke. Committee reports. Capital Area Tech?
We've reported that they were off to a great start, and something new that's being done this year is prospective students will watch a video about the school and their particular field that they're interested in, and then they will shadow a student in that field for one day. Then a survey was given to the students, I think when they came back to school this year, to ask how effective that was, how much it matched real life, the presentation versus the actual. And the feedback was very positive. The students found it helpful. And one of the issues they've had in the past is someone will say, well, I want to go to electrical, and they're in electrical for 5 days, and they say, I don't want to be in electrical, I want to go to plumbing. And this has helped, so there's not so many transfers and confusion at the beginning of school. There's a new emphasis there to make sure all special ed students are identified so that all the components of the IEP are met. And this had been, I guess, just a paperwork difficulty in communication, as was mentioned earlier. That was not working very well, and that's something they're really working on this year. And then there's a law passed, LD 436, which recognized the difficulty CATC students were having getting all their credits for graduation because they were in a vocational program. And so that's something that's in progress right now to figure out what they're doing there that can go toward core classes at the high school so that they get the units that they needed. And I don't remember, Pat, but there was somebody else was doing it and they were gonna ask them how they were doing it, so they didn't have to recreate the wheel and then tweak it to meet the system's needs here. The capacity of the programs there is 71%. Last year it was 67%.
Yeah.
And I do have data if anybody's interested about the various programs and how many students are in each program.
Broken down by sending school districts. So you can
Yes.
see exactly how many from Gardner.
And how many
Nice
sending,
data
is it
chart.
5 sending this, how many districts are?
Richmond,
maybe.
Erskine.
Yes, it can I? We'll get it done.
RSU 2, Winthrop, RSU 38, which is Marana Cook, so like 7-ish.
Okay, great, thank you. Thank you, Linda. Curriculum committee, Alyssa.
Yes, ma'am. We met on October 8th. We went over the annual district goals and we also looked at data, my favorite, preliminary fall assessment data. That's attached in your minutes, so you can see those and see all the benchmarks and so forth that we went through. It's also was live streamed, so you can watch it again for your viewing pleasure. Yep. We tend to go through the curriculum itself as written here. There's a 3-year cycle to go through content areas and review them in phases. So there's a document about that as well, showing what things are coming next, similar to policy that we go through and so forth. So pretty straightforward. Where's my friend to fact check me? Yeah. Anything else? All right. So yeah, a lot of information in the packet. That's why it's so lengthy, but please review. Next meeting is next week at 3:30.
Thank you, you're welcome. Finance, dropout prevention. That's Maitland.
Oh, sorry, I was not at that meeting. Unfortunately, I
It's-
talked to Sarah.
I'm saying Sarah's not here, she's
Sarah,
homesick, so
homesick,
maybe
right.
just as written.
Sure.
Those are live streamed as well, or?
No.
No,
Okay.
they're just at the
So,
middle
okay.
school.
In the packet then.
Yeah.
Finance committee, I'm just gonna hit the highlights. We're looking to enter into a different contract with our bus, with keeping track of our buses. So we're looking at doing something with a company called Bus Right and beginning of the year.
So it's not about keeping track of our buses. It's about having
it well.
GPS
Yes.
access on the buses. There would be like an iPad, right? Or
Yes,
a
it's the-
tablet.
It's the
There's a
routing,
tablet.
routing software.
Thank you,
and
routing
tablet
software.
So
That would be
Yes.
mounting.
So we can see exactly where students are stopping or where their bus stops are, so we know exactly where they need to be dropped off. And this particular package also has an app for families. So the family will download the app and it will tell you exactly how many minutes away from your house the bus is located. So rather than going out and waiting for 15 minutes because the bus is late, you'll know if it's when it's 5 minutes away. You'll be able to see exactly where it is. Part of our desire to do this is that we're really struggling on many levels with our transportation department. One, we have bus drivers who are sometimes subbing. Gabe, for an example, had to drive a bus the other day. And when you have a sub driver on, they just have a paper copy about where students are. So they're trying to drive, they're trying to read the paper copy. It's now dark in the morning or dark in the afternoon, and it's really hard for them to follow that. So that's absolutely an issue. The other thing that we have happening and going on is a lot of times we have students that are missing their buses. So the buses turn around and they go pick up the students. And what's happening is it's adding lots of time, right, to the routes. So by doing this, other school districts have been able to actually save money. They've been able to consolidate buses. They've saved about 10 to 15 minutes on each run. So in the long run, while there's a cost associated with this, there is expected to be a cost savings. So we had set aside some money in the budget for a communication tool for families that we had purchased. And the rollout of it was so disastrous that we pulled it back. It was. But we'll be honest, the company
Oh,
just did not meet
absolutely.
our expectations at all. So we now have some extra funds. And so the proposal is to be able to enter into an agreement with them this year and have it start January 1st. And so that's the proposal.
I just wanted to say really quickly while we're talking about this, because that was the one thing I wanted to bring up. I spent a lot of time with Keith at that
At the
conference
yeah.
and really like watched how it works and like it makes so much sense. And as a parent who's always like, is the bus here? Is the bus here? Where's the bus? Did we miss the bus? Like with 3 different kids on 3 different buses. And I just wanted to, while we're talking about buses, say for any parents that are watching or listening, if you get a chance, thank your bus driver, because they really are kind of struggling through this right now. I mean, I say thank you every day, but I feel like they're not hearing it enough. It's a really important job that we really need to take super seriously. So
It is, and they have
thank
your
you. I
kids.
think bus ride
Yeah.
is absolutely a fabulous investment.
It was fascinating to watch at the conference when they were actually doing it on the iPad. And while tracking is not a great word, but it's exactly, you get to watch, you can see the bus going down the road with your kid in the bus. And that's so helpful for kids and for parents.
Yeah, and the students were there too. So
Yes.
Kira.
Yeah, so Sage and I like went and saw their little booth and loved it. And then we went and saw their little like private presentation and we fell in love with it. And I know my bus route like cycles through bus drivers all the time. We're in our like 4th one this year. So the bus times vary a lot. They vary like halfway through the week. And I miss my bus so much. It's become a joke with my friends. And this would save me so much time of like getting to school late or like knowing when I should be out. Cause like one time I waited outside for like 20 minutes in the cold because we were just cycling through bus drivers. So like, I think this is a great idea.
And also Michelle had her hand up next.
This sounds amazing. Is there any sort of like emergency component to this where if the bus driver finds they're in trouble or anything happens, a car accident, deer runs into the bus, is there any sort of emergency component to that where the police can get notified sooner, technology wise?
I think it has a crash
It
detection.
immediately alerts the school and then the school like sends out as fast as they can type it, a message will go out to the parents.
Yeah,
That's
and
amazing.
parents also get notification, and it also like keeps them updated on traffic, so you get ETAs and stuff.
Right. You can customize your app.
Seconds.
Yeah.
And also, I think when you have a shortage of buses, it also changes the bus schedule
It
to accommodate
accommodates,
the fewer buses that are out there to be the most effective and expeditious, which is what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
So anybody else? Yes, Jeff.
Is there any community that's actually using this now that we can
Yes.
have a demonstration, actual history of its usefulness?
Yes,
Who would
we
that be?
have, unfortunately, Jeff, our Director of Transportation isn't here tonight. He spoke to transportation directors who are currently using it. And I have some colleagues that I've spoken to who are using it. Yarmouth, Brunswick, Biddeford. Off the top of my head, those are 3 that come to mind. Camden, Rockport. All of those school districts are using it and they are just raving about how good it is. Especially compared to the system that we currently have, right? The system that we currently have is really antiquated, and it's gonna cost us a lot of money to be able to upgrade. The way this one works is that you're charged an annual fee of $1,400 per bus. But what comes with that is the equipment, right? And the GPS is built off of Google Maps. So your maps, your GPS, it's immediately updated. So if there is an accident, the bus can be rerouted. Versus with the company that we currently have, the program that we currently have, the maps are really old, and if we want to update them, we're gonna have to pay an additional $3,500 just to update them. And any equipment we would have to buy ourselves. It's completely separate. So other school districts love it. You have an email in your packet that came from a director. I'm not sure. I think he works for Yarmouth.
I think it was Yarmouth.
And he is also president of the Maine Association for Pupil Transportation, just raving about it, so.
And our transportation director did come to our workshop with administrators 2 weeks ago, and he made a presentation to us, so.
Finance.
I'm sorry, yes, to finance, yes.
Yes, which is recorded. I watched it.
Which is also recorded,
Yeah.
and if you want to hear Jeff talk about it, just watch the finance meeting. It's on our live stream.
Good, thank you.
Yep.
Oh, Molly.
Oh, sorry, Molly.
Have a current annual expense?
Yes, but I don't know the exact amount off the top of my head. That's an Andrea question. But once we end the license with them, then we'll be credited for what we don't use.
Sure, but we already have part of this built into our budget is what I'm trying to ask.
This is, we're going to use money from a license that we thought we were going to use regarding a communication tool that we're no longer going to use, and they refunded us the entire amount. So this particular company will charge us just for a half year. So I think it's $11,000. And the other license was for 15. So we can absorb it this year, but it means we'll need to build it in for next year.
But something that had previously been built in. already.
Correct. So we have the money for it.
And we'll see for 6 months how well it works. So that'll be a
Yeah.
good thing. Right. So we can make better choices.
Okay.
Good questions.
So I do need a motion.
Yep. Motion to approve to enter into a contract with Bus Right.
So moved.
Moved by Tony, second by Molly. Any further questions or comments? All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Secondly, a resolution to authorize lease purchase of photocopiers and related equipment in the principal amount of $187,000. And this is something that we do from time to time. We haven't done it in
It's about every
many-
5 years.
Yeah, so we haven't done it in several years, but again, if you want details about that, watch the finance committee meeting. It's live stream. And that's.
We do need a motion on
So
that as
moved.
well.
Thank you. And second by Linda.
And the wording that has to be approved is in the packet,
Yes.
right? So
we go.
Andrea's not here. I
is
would
very
say if you
inconvenient.
just read the motion and then the resolution is as written, I would hope that that's sufficient because that's very lengthy.
It's huge.
Yeah, go ahead. Molly's got
I
it.
move that the resolution entitled Resolution to Authorize Lease Purchase of New Xerox Copiers in the principal amount of $187,000 be adopted in form presented to this meeting. And
So moved by Alyssa, second by Linda. Questions or comments? All those in favor? You. Great. Thank you very much. Policy Committee.
So, good evening. So we didn't meet today, and actually we didn't meet last month. What we have before us though are let's see, 3 policies and then 3 job descriptions that are up for second reading. And those are included in the email packet. And these, just as a quick review, the family care leave, that's a new law that's going into effect January. Is that right, Pat?
This is for the paid
Oh, right.
leave that you're referring to.
Thank you. Yeah.
And that we begin deducting from staff salaries in January, but it actually isn't available to them, I believe, until 26 because the
1 year.
state needs to build up,
Accrue,
right? Yeah.
the fund, yeah. So this is starting that, that family care leave, process. So, it's our second reading for that policy, the nepotism policy we reviewed and updated. And then, policy DJR for our bidding and purchasing requirements. And those are all included in the packet. And then the job descriptions are as well. Again, to review, we, split the transportation and facilities directors into 2 directorships, just noticing that the workload was too much to focus on for one position. And that those job descriptions were created in collaboration with our facilities and transportation staff. Thank you. And then we also have the job description for the inclusion specialist, which is part of the special services program. So those are up for second reading. I would like to make a motion to approve those as bundled for the second reading.
Second from Matt Lillybridge. Questions or comments regarding these policies?
Yes. A comment, I think the 1%, is that from each employee, but the employer matches that with the 1% as well?
It's a total of 1%. The district has to pay a 0.5% of it, and then it's up to the district in collaboration or negotiations with the associations as to who pays the other 0.5%, whether it's the employee, but the employees can pay 0.5 and we can pay 0.5.
Do we have a total of what will be accumulated in the first year?
Andrea did that calculation, yes. It's a bit complicated because it's not just, we don't just take the total number of staff. It all depends on the expiration date of existing contracts as to when we have to begin applying that 0.5%. So like the central office, none of us fall under a contract, so therefore we will immediately begin seeing a 0.5% deducted from our pay. But it may not be deducted from, say, teachers because their contract doesn't expire until 26.
How about us, we're gonna pay it?
So you'll have to start paying the 0.5% for the central office, for example. But the others, it will depend on when their contracts end. So, you're welcome.
So is that discussion? Do we need to
Vote. Need a vote, yeah. All those in favor? Opposed?
I'm abstaining because I just don't feel like I know enough, so I don't want to do either way.
All right, and you're opposed, Jeff?
I voted yes.
You did vote yes. I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand. Sorry about that. Okay. Motion carries with 1 abstention. Perfect. Wellness Committee.
I'm looking that way again, because I don't have notes necessarily. I don't know that I went to the last one.
We had our Q1 meeting on October 11th.
Oh, it was at 8:30 a.m.
Right, it was.
All coming back to you now.
It's coming back.
Oh.
Failing. It's the, we've kind of restructured the wellness committee, so we have representation from the building, food service, the board, and the central office. And so the first meeting was sort of getting our legs under us, but basically we went through what is our plan for the year. We reviewed the wellness, the current district wellness activity, which was the walking challenge, and how that was going. We started trying to identify how the building level teams are operating, and we plan on reviewing policy at the next quarterly meeting. That generally.
I think that's right, yes.
Oh, and our community member Patricia Buck-Welton was there. Oh, and we reviewed the district wellness work that we did. Sorry, I was not prepared. The district wellness work that we did for opening day with staff. Yeah. Also.
Start planning for next year as well.
You got it all?
Yes, you got.
Between the 3 of us.
I know, right? We each get 1 point.
Yay. Thank you guys so much.
Diane has a question.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember, I think it was at the end of last year that we were talking about having gardens, vegetable gardens at the school. Does that come under the wellness plan, or is that a club or an activity?
That does not come under wellness. We were working on it administratively with a few staff members, trying to kind of link it to our life skills program. Because they do some cooking, and so we were trying to grow food that could support their program. And we did have gardens this summer, right? So the hope is that we will continue and expand over time.
Great question.
Yeah, we got everything. I found the notes. Oh, dear. Oh,
It's okay.
it's okay.
There's a lot on the platter
There's a
tonight.
lot today, yeah.
Student reps.
Yeah, hi. So to start off, we're gonna start with the NHS. We just had our induction, which was a success. We did something new where the student officers introduced the new inductees, and parents approached Ms. Dossey afterwards saying that they really enjoyed and appreciated that aspect. We're also doing our turkey baskets this year, and we're planning on about 150, which is 100 less than last year, which
Wow.
is kind of good. We thought eggs were going to be a concern, but Interact has generously set aside some money for us from the food bank. So those are no longer a concern. And we are currently accepting turkey donations, frozen turkey donations. So
I saw the graphic. It's really good, eye-catching, yeah.
Where do we drop off turkey donations?
the high school.
On the 25th,
On Monday, right? Yes.
Monday the 25th. So if anybody wants to donate turkeys,
Greatly appreciated.
and you're accepting donations for other items as well. So if someone doesn't want to purchase a turkey and you just want to make a financial contribution, that's
If
acceptable.
anybody would like to know more, they can just contact me. And if they contact me, I can send them all the information that they'd like.
I want to know more. I'll contact you. I remember actually when one of my kids was in high school that if you got turkeys donated, you got credit for community service. Is that still a thing?
Yes.
So let me just say that publicly. Any kids, you want to donate turkeys, hit up your parents and you can get community service hours. Kill two birds with
One.
Just saying.
There we go.
Okey dokey, you'll be hearing from us. Yes.
Did you want to add?
So we had a fall fest. It was a huge success. We had activities like pumpkin carving, face painting, musical chairs, and pie eating contests. And it was a very good turnout from all the grades, and there was lots of participations. And what everyone loved was almost no one had their phones out, so that was kind of cool. And then Unified Volleyball had their first games. I'm pretty sure they've won most of them or all of them.
Yeah.
But it's very fun to watch. You guys should go. You get a chance. And then we sent out our student check-in. We got 60 responses. And there were some concerns brought up. So addressing those concerns. More vape detectors will be installed in the bathrooms. We got, I think, 6 or more new ones. There's a lot of opinions on the cell phone policy. And we were considering holding a panel where the ad hoc committee listens to students' opinions, possibly with some guided questions. Some students were also worried about hats. They want hats all the time, not just in the hallways. I know the board already did that not that long ago, but that's just something the students wanted us to bring up at the meeting. And then 20 students were interested in a student leadership organization. So Sage and I will be submitting a proposal for next meeting's agenda for that club.
Awesome.
Couple more things really
Couple
quick.
more exciting things.
So we also had our school-wide mock election, which a lot of students participated in. And the high school is still currently holding its streak for accurately predicting the actual presidential election winner. So that's kind of cool. And we also we started this new thing where we sent out a newsletter to the student body, just kind of summarizing what actually happens at these meetings because a lot of students don't have time to watch them. And we don't have an accurate like way to measure how well that was received. So we're gonna be doing that monthly and we'll be printing out or putting it on our morning announcement slideshow copies so that for advisories, so hopefully that we can get more students to look at it. And we also think that our student check-in survey thing will be a monthly occurrence. So,
Great. The more we know, the better we do.
Thank you both.
Thank you both so much. That's great. We're gonna forego administrator reports.
Reading the report, if
Yes,
they're
so-
okay with that.
If that's okay
Yeah,
with
read
all
it
you
already.
administrators. I know you're dying to get up there, but
Their written reports are in the packet, so they're available for anyone who wants to read them. I would ask if there's any board member, any administrator who has something that they really want to share. Don't have to, I just didn't know if there was,
Yeah, I just want to share something.
you stand up.
Sure, yeah. So after I wrote my board report, Jack Quinn went on to
Right.
compete in the New England golf tournament and won.
yes,
Which
yes,
was
yes.
amazing.
Yep,
So Jack Quinn is the New England champion of the junior, pretty special.
that's pretty awesome.
That's what I wanted to mention.
What's his handicap?
Pretty good.
That's awesome. And we did have our administrator, we had our special board workshop a couple of weeks ago, and so another reason we feel comfortable just leaving it to read is that they were here and shared with us pretty candidly,
Right.
what was going on, and it was just really great to hear from all of you, at that special meeting, so thank you for that, and anything else you need to know is in the packet. And appropriately, next is the cell phone
Yeah,
committee.
we just, it's taken a little bit longer than I had hoped to establish and set the first agenda, the first meeting, but it will be November 20th at 3:00, here in the boardroom, so. I'm sorry?
Will it be live streamed?
Possibly, I hadn't really thought about that. I would check with Terry, and see if she's available. But we have a couple parents, we have our student reps, we have some staff members and administrators, so. Yeah, let me speak with her about that. Yeah.
General information.
Just as written.
New business. Annual approval of the emergency crisis plan. I chuckle because that's always such a big deal. But annual approval of our emergency plan.
Yeah, so the school board is required to annually approve our crisis plan. I have a copy of it upstairs if there's a board member who wants to go through it. Years ago, we worked very collaboratively with our contact from Augusta. So it was for Maine FEMA, who sat at the table. We had law enforcement. We had our fire chief, so we had a very comprehensive group at the table. And the plan that we developed really followed the standards set forth by FEMA. So it is quite extensive. We are at a place where we probably need to review it again because it's been a while. I've spoken with Deputy Jordan and asked him if he would help take the lead on it, and he has assured me that he will do that once time allows. In the meantime, there are some trainings that I recently learned that administrators have to take and participate in. They're from the National Incident Management System, or NIMS. For those of you who work in that field, you may be familiar with it. That we have to take some classes for the incident command system. So because we have a connection now to Kennebec County with the Sheriff's Department, we're going to be required to take these classes. So most of them are online, but it does mean that all of our building administrators, they're gonna have to take like 12 and a half hours of training. Their campus team, their school-based team, it's about another 5.5 for them. I just found out about another training that I may have to go to in 2 weeks for 3 hours in person. And so I have to take separate training, and that's gonna total about 15.5 hours. So I want you to know that we're doing all of that training behind the scenes, so should there be an incident, we will be well-trained to be able to respond.
Excellent. Any questions from board members about that? Or
So sorry, I have a question. So are we being asked to approve this tonight with the expectation that it will be revisited and possibly revamped for next year? Or
Yes, we will not have time to revamp it for this year, but
To
it is
remain
my
in
hope
compliance.
that he will be able to take a look at it and let us know if there's any modification that needs to happen.
And will a committee be formed to look at that?
I'm gonna have him look at it, and if he says, no, you're current, you're up to speed, then no, there won't be a committee. If he says that, ooh, there were some things missing that have really changed with FEMA, then yeah, we'll talk about having the right people at the table in having law enforcement, having some of our fire chiefs, for example, present. They provided a lot of input last time. And we've done tabletops in the past, where we had meetings with all of those individuals at the table, and we said, okay, here's an incident that occurred at such a school. We might pick a school and say, all right, where are we gonna line up the buses? Where are we going to do this? Where will parents be? And so we do those periodically as well. That is not open to the public, but it is, but it includes a broad representation. So, okay.
Thank you for answering my question.
you're welcome. And it's a very lengthy,
I'm
deep
sure.
report.
Yeah.
So, and anybody's welcome to go and look at it. Bring coffee
Yeah, right.
and plan to spend time. Because it's a very lengthy report. All right, so
I'm
we
sorry, I have
need,
one more question.
sure.
As school board members, are we allowed to tour some of these schools, see examples of these crisis plans in off hours? And can that be scheduled for newer board members at a later time?
There is a general portion of our emergency plan that is open to the public. You can see those. There are specific plans that are confidential and they're not necessarily open. We have scheduled tours in the past on like a Saturday morning. And Gabe has brought the bus around. We've jumped on the bus and we've toured all of the schools so that board members get to walk into every single building, and we certainly can do that again in the future.
And ask all the questions. We call it a school board field trip.
Yep.
Okay. And it's like a Saturday with coffee and donuts.
Okay,
Sounds great. Fruit or salad, whatever it is that you want to do. And Gabe is always so gracious to make us happy.
Don't get locked behind the door.
That's right, just don't get locked behind the door. Let's not do that. So yes, we have done that. We try to make it entertaining and useful at the same time.
Try not to lose anybody.
Try not to lose anyone. There's always a wanderer in every group.
Joanne.
All right, so a motion and a second. Because we need to. Yeah.
So move.
Second.
Over here. Any further questions or comments? All those in favor? Excellent. All those up for a field trip?
Sure.
All right, let's do it.
Maybe not in the snow or anything.
Not in the
that'd be
snow,
cool.
on a
Try to pick a nice.
Yeah, right.
Thank you, weather permitting. Okay, consideration to permit the use of remote school days when there is a school closing.
So before we know it,
Yeah, see, I said it.
before we know it, the weather will shift and we will be thinking about canceling school as a result of weather-related issue. And last year, the board approved the use of remote days occasionally, depending on the situation. And so I wanted to bring that to you for consideration again, to let me know whether you want us to use remote days. If there is a remote day, if we call one, just a couple things to be keeping in mind. One, we have to provide a meal for families that sign up in advance that want a meal. Now, I have to be able to provide that meal prior to the snow day or the remote day. We can technically send the food home a couple weeks or so in advance, but the reality is it's shelf food and it's probably really not very good. We want to send something that is more nutritional
So if we anticipate that there is a possibility for a snow day or remote day, we'll try to send the food in advance, again, for families that sign up. It doesn't go to everyone. A survey would be sent out and families would be able to sign up. If we end up having school instead of the anticipated snow day, then we probably just have to eat the food that we sent. All right. We would not get reimbursed for it. We would have to absorb the cost. The only other alternative is calling the remote day the day before a storm. Now, the risk of that is we all know that weather patterns change. And there have been school districts that have been caught. You know, they're expecting that the weather's going to be horrible. It's going to be a remote day. They send all the food home. And lo and behold, all of the other area schools were able to send their students that particular day.
Right.
That's a challenge for families, right? When they need to go to work, but they can't because the school called the remote. So I just want to put that as a potential issue in front of you as you think about whether to approve those days. And what will a snow day or a remote day look like? At the high school, there would be an attendance check-in. There would be 3 hours of office time scheduled by teachers. There are Google assignments, so the students would be able to access their assignments. And so they would be available during the office hours to support students who needed it. At the middle school, there would be 1 hour of office hours. There are Google assignments so that the students would be able to do their work. And at the elementary school, there would be paper packets that would be sent out. Itinerants would include 2 activities in those paper packets. And the teachers would also offer remote office hours as best they can. And then students would be expected to return any of their finished work when they return back to school. So I just need to know if you are in favor of remote days, or do you want every day to be a snow day? If every day is a snow day, currently the last day of school is going to be June 12th. If that means which is a Thursday. So if we have one snow day, it would be on a Friday and graduation's the next day. If we have multiple days, it would take you into the week of June 16th. There is a holiday that week. You have Juneteenth on the 19th, which means that there may be an added cost for you, because if you have a contract that says that you have any staff members that work in a week in which there is a holiday that they can't, there is the potential that there is an added expense if you go with just all snow days.
I just want to ask a question. So for high school level, there will be no like actual Google Meets happening that are mandatory for the students?
Correct.
Okay.
The hard part is, you know, if we have a day, there could be some families that don't have internet, right? So we really need to make sure that we're flexible with the remote day, which is why we're trying to make sure that they can access Google Meet. And I think that there are packets as well that are sometimes sent home to with high school students as well as with elementary students.
There's a survey that goes home to students to see if you have internet access or not, as well as the food and lunch.
Yeah, I know we talk about it every year, but I can't remember if we had to vote for taking the half days and adding an hour for snow days and everything, because it seems to be this a much tighter window this year than it has been in the past few years.
It is tighter because we started the year later.
We started later.
Yeah. And yes, if you wish down the road, right, if
We
you
talked
take
about
some
it in
days
February.
off, right, and
Right.
you want to make up some of those days by extending pre-established early release days, that would require a vote. And a letter would have to be written to the commissioner requesting a change in the calendar.
Yeah, so I just wanted to add that we did this last year at the high school, and from student perspective, it worked out really well. The kids who needed it, they got their lunch the day before. If you're able to just like check in with your classes and then just do the work on your own time. It's obviously expected that you get it done, but it's like you have the whole day. And it's just worked really well, and obviously we don't go into the summer because of it, which is nice. So yeah, it worked fine last year.
Do we have any wiggle room? Do we have any number of snow days that we have available through the course of the year? That if we had to extend it or change the release days, do we have like 3 built into the schedule? So we have none.
You have none, you just have to tack the days on at the end of the end of the school year.
I have a question. Is this opportunity for remote school days only available to the high school, or is it to June?
K-12.
K-12, okay, that was not yet clear to me, thank you.
Yeah, that's why elementary, they'll receive packets. And elementary staff will still have, they'll still have office hours, just like high school staff.
Thank you.
My sister was in elementary school last year and we did fine with that as well. So I think it's a really solid plan. It works good, so. Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, last year, we didn't implement it until kind of the second. And so there were actual snow days. And then there were also remote days. Like it's not, if you're having a snow day, it's automatically a remote day. Is that correct?
Last year, we had more flexibility at the end of the year, right? Because we started in the end of August. There isn't as much wiggle room in this calendar, so play it by ear. Maybe a remote day on one, if it's a beautiful, beautiful snowstorm. You want kids outside, right? So in that particular case, maybe it's just a traditional snow day. If it's clear that if it's an ice storm and there's going to be a lot of power outages, it's a regular snow day, right? So I'll just have to make those decisions as best I can in the moment.
So we're not voting saying every snow day is going to be a
No.
remote day.
But just giving me the flexibility to call remote days.
I think that's fine. That makes sense. You're all up at 4 or 3 AM, whatever it is,
Yeah.
doing that anyway, right?
And then you
Yeah.
can't get mad at her for getting it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
whispering into
sometimes
the
I
phone
do
in the
get it
closet.
wrong.
Yeah.
You never get it wrong. Yes.
I appreciate the idea of like calling it the day before to letting kids know, because sometimes people stay really late the night before because they're certain. I just want to say I support that if it happens.
Yeah, I hear you. You know, I do hear you, and I know it's easier for families, but again, the risk is the weather changes. And for those of you who've been in the district for a long time, you know the weather can change within an hour, so I might call a delay and I should have canceled. Or I might have called the whole day off and I could have gotten away with, you know.
Right.
It changes. Sometimes it will stall or sometimes it moves faster. And there have been school districts that have called the storm the night before and the storm
Result.
Passes all together.
and we could have been in school. So play it by ear. If it is a sure bet, right? And all of the area schools are certain it's a sure bet, we try to call it the night before.
Can I ask that it be revisited on our January agenda as to whether or not we look at the remaining early release days as well? Can we just add that so that we have time to use the 5 remaining early release days from January on?
Sure.
We can revisit that portion of conversation.
Or is this?
Yes,
Yeah.
I would like it just to make it official, yeah.
So yeah, I would move that we, like as last year, permit the use of remote school days when there is a school closing consideration.
Second.
Second by Joanne. Questions or comments? One comment, everyone should look forward to a job in your future when you can get it wrong every day and still be paid. Okay, all those in favor? When the weather is a sure thing. Thank you, motion carries. Okay. And cooperative indoor track with Pony and Holly.
Okay, I think the proposal, was it in your,
In the packet.
was in the packet? So in terms of time, I guess, are there any questions, or Nate, is there anything that you want to add?
Sure, which we have in the packet. So we're requesting to form an indoor track and field co-op with Coney. We currently do not have an indoor track and field team. Coney is also taking on Halldale as well, so there'd be 3 teams in the cooperative team. This year, there would be no expense to us. Coney is going to pay the $2,500 fee. Next year, there may be a fee, but if there is, we'll either have to request it from the boosters or just some funding. That's essentially it in a nutshell.
Make a motion we consider to approve.
Well,
Oh, you
I
have
have a question.
question?
Transportation.
Can we do the motion,
after-
second questions? Motion by Alyssa, second by Tony. Questions?
Okay, where is the facility?
So most of the meets, there are 6 meets, there are 5 at Bowdoin and 1 at USM. And so transportation, for you're getting into, would either be Coney would pick us up on the way or they would be transported by parents.
How many athletes?
We're looking at roughly 20 at least. Jen Butter is our coach. She's done an amazing job with track and field over the years. We have huge interest. So I guarantee you, at least that 20, probably more. And with dual sports now, maybe even increase that more.
Keep them moving.
Absolutely.
What are the sports specific events that?
Jen?
Great question. More shorter distances, we have the 55-meter sprint and the 55-meter hurdles instead of 100-meter. There's some different events that we don't do in outdoor. There's a 4x200 versus the 4x400 because the indoor tracks in the college are 200 meters instead of 400 meters. So running around that many times would make someone dizzy. They don't usually do the 2-mile. Race walk is not usually contended. There's talk of it being an exhibition. And we don't throw javelin and they don't throw discus on indoor because that would be bad. But there's an indoor shot put and there's some jumping events. So there's a short and there's some jumping. So there's a reduced load. I think it's probably 3/4 of the events.
And practices or?
I was just gonna say that too. Yeah, I was just gonna add that. So Jen would be volunteering her time as the track coach. We would practice here at the high school in the cafeteria and in the hallways, probably 3 times a week. And then there's one meet per week. And then we would just meet up with Tony and Halldale to meet.
Practice in the cafeteria?
We're flexible.
Gosh, that's a riot. Okay.
We just heard her.
Cool.
No javelin.
No javelin in the cafeteria. So, any other questions? Then all those in favor of moving forward with keeping kids moving?
Thank you.
Yay, absolutely. Thank you, Nate. And it is 6:04, Alyssa.
I'm leaving. I'll see some of you in a few.
See you in a little bit. And Matt needed to leave. He had a, yeah, I got him. Thank you. Yep. Okay, approve the fellowship of Christian athletes as a Gardner Area High School club.
Again, that proposal is in your packet. Jordan is here, who would be the advisor, if board members have questions.
So basically, we have a sub-club of a athletic community. Isn't this something that would be better at a church?
No, we have other clubs in the district for many reasons. They have every right to be affiliated or to host their meetings at the high school. And actually, the district would probably be in violation of their rights because you already have like a civil rights team. You already have GSDA. And so, yeah, you would be violating their rights if you said no.
My question would be, is the Fellowship of Christian Athletes means that they're all Christians? Or can an atheist join the Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
Jordan, would you mind coming to the podium and
Yeah.
walking us through this painful conversation? Look at you. He was a football coach too.
Yeah, so my name is Jordan Hersom. I'm a teacher and coach at Gardner High School. I get to see all the students as a health teacher at the school, meet all the student body. And then I coach football, basketball, and outdoor track in the spring. FCA is like a worldwide, nationwide organization. I had done some coaching at Bates College a few years ago and met some coordinators from FCA in the state of Maine. And to answer kind of your question, it's open to any student and they don't even have to play sports. So it's called Fellowships with Christian Athletes, but any student can come in and join, can sit in, staff members. It's a student-led organization, so I would not be leading. By law, I can't lead it. So I would be the host teacher, opening up the room for the students. We have a senior that's interested in leading the group, and we currently have 15 to 20 students who are interested in starting with the group as of right now that I've talked to and heard about. And probably 8 or 9 staff members have reached out to me and said they would be interested in sitting in and being with the kids too. So I think it'll be great for our leadership, building leaders in the community. And it would allow kids to get connected that maybe aren't connected right now in our schools. So, obviously I'm, passionate about it, but it's something that I think could be a great thing for our kids for those reasons. But I know Erskine Academy has it, FCA. The school I went to in high school has it. The school my wife went to. So it's several schools in the state of Maine have it to offer to their kids. Yeah.
Very good. Move this for,
Yeah.
that we have, the FCA.
Second. Second from Michelle. And Joanne, maybe to help put you at ease a tiny bit, it's not about teaching someone how to be Christian. It's really a gathering place. I'm familiar with it from my past. It's really giving students a place to be. And there's a lot of kids right now, a lot of students, a lot of humans right now that really struggle with having a place to be. And it's not about indoctrinating or, Bible verses or anything like that. It's another place to gather that is safe and supported and supportive. So I totally, I believe, understand your concern about just the buzzword of it, but I don't think that's anything we need to be concerned about.
Yeah, FCA supplies all of the materials. So people I've been connected with, they would provide everything to the school and give the leader of the group the materials they would need to lead the students who were involved. And there's no agenda, so it's not being pushed on anyone. Open arms and anyone is welcome at any time. So
Can you tell me like some of the topics that?
yeah, so I mean, it's a chance for students to grow in their faith. There would be some things, from a Bible that could be offered by FCA to students who are interested. And it could be like prayer at the flag in the morning, to pray for everyone, for their day. That would be student led. At the flag outside. I know schools do that as part of their FCA group. And there's different, camps in the summer and things students can get involved with. It's like a year-round organization, as much as they would be interested in as well. So.
Do they do public service like the turkey baskets and Christmas gifts for kids and?
Yeah. So I think that could definitely be a possibility for sure. Once we were able to get the group going.
And there's nothing to stop those students who are in that club from being part of the turkey baskets, and because they're part of the larger body. And I think that's probably what's behind all of this, is that the Fellowship of Christian Athletes is also part of the larger community and not specific to that one thing. So I think there's every chance and possibility that would happen. Yes, John.
Yeah, I don't have any concerns with it because it's a group of people that want to be together. And Christian principles aren't a bad thing. Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not lie. You know, having a moral foundation is not a bad thing in any group, anywhere. So I'm all for this. I think it's a wonderful idea.
Thank you.
The person who is interested in leading is a senior, and there is some underclassmen who are also interested in taking over. The current person in position to lead the group, you know, has grown up in a church and has a parent who is a pastor, so has done some youth group organizations and is pretty excited about the potential opportunity of this, so. Yeah.
I'd just like to add that the senior, he put in our student report that he was interested in doing that, so I'm sure he's very excited about it because it was in our student report, so, in the survey.
If board members were interested in seeing the material, is that a possibility?
Yeah, I would say so, absolutely, yeah,
Okay.
again, you know, attending tonight, be reaching out to some of those coordinators in the state, and I've got to know one in particular pretty well, you know, so. There's certain steps, you know, that I would need to go through with the organization to obviously get things rolling, but yeah.
I think that's great.
I appreciate everyone's time tonight, so thank you.
Thank you.
Can I move to defer this until after we see some of the material?
Well, there's a motion.
We have a motion and a second, and
So unless they want to modify their motion.
Are there other groups that are specific to any subgroup? Any group, I'm not gonna be specific. Are there any groups? So this is a Christian group, he's saying it's called a Christian group. Is there other groups, like let's say, Black groups, LGBT groups, et cetera, whose material is being scanned and
I don't know that we have any LGBTQ materials that are scanned and spread throughout the community, or that we have any clubs like that. I don't know that. I would have to check. But I do know that if we had one of those clubs that wanted to do something like that, they would come before the board. If we had a Muslim club that wanted to do that, we would do that. If we do have churches that rent our facilities and have church services in our schools.
what I'm asking is, does the board have to review?
The board, to my knowledge, they've never reviewed.
We've never reviewed.
So why
No.
review?
Just the other clubs seem to have the whole school board, the whole school body, civil rights group, whole school body, Gay Straight Alliance, whole school. Where Christian, if you're discussing Bible and prayer and stuff like that, that's a subgroup of the body.
But it's not actually, because the Gay Straight Alliance requires students that agree with that mentality, just like Christian group students agree with that mentality. It is open to anybody, but it's not going to appeal to everybody. So if there's a Jewish group, if there's a Muslim group, under our rights, civil laws, any group, any religious group can have a group in a public school. The teachers cannot run it, as that gentleman already said. But students, under their civil rights, have the right to have any group in the school, any religion. Just because somebody else may not like it, doesn't mean anything.
Well, why does it even come up to the board then?
Because the board approves all clubs in the school. So, but
And we're following the
It is
law
a
as opposed,
civil
you know,
violation
it's
if
not
you
being
do not
taught
obey.
during the school day and nothing like that. It's the same. It's,
when you run out of time.
and we're gonna run out of time, so we need to move forward.
Yeah.
We gotta stay focused here. And did you? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I do not wish to withdraw my support, my second. So.
And I'm not, I'm gonna stand by my motion as it is.
I think it's important for us to abide by the law, number one, and number two, to support things and places for our students to be and to not get hung up on the particulars. So other questions, feel free to funnel them through me and I'll get with Jordan and we will see you'll get to see what you need to see. But all those in favor of supporting the Fellowship of Christian Athletes in our facilities? And I'm guessing you're either abstaining or against. Okay. And I respect that, so. Full business is none, board chair. Okay, first thing I would like to say about the MSAMA annual conference was that Sage and Kiara cleaned house. They left that facility with these two bags up to their armpits, filled with
Huge duffel
swag.
bags.
Filled with swag. So,
And I left with $100 Reese's.
yes! I was so worried that, I was so worried she was gone already, so I went running down there, Sage, where's Sage? And she was there, she got it. So I was concerned that she was not going to be present to win, but she was, and that was awesome. And seeing you leave with that giant bag under your arm, just.
It was great. I even had enough to give gifts to other people. It was this
Cool.
like
Oh, yeah,
that
they
big
were huge,
pack.
huge bags.
This is from this bus right shirt is also.
Oh, yeah,
from
we're
that.
repping bus right.
There you are, and they have a really cool logo.
Yeah.
It's very cute, yeah, so it was really, it was one of the more fun conferences because you guys really did make it. You made it, you were their boss that day, you know, and
Everybody I went to was like, where are you from? Oh, and I said, oh, you have student representatives. We've
They've
met your
been
student
here.
representatives.
Yeah.
They were here,
they
so.
got their swag.
Yep.
So you guys really, you represented this board and the district really, really well. Great workshops, really good material. It was really a fun couple of days. So do you guys want to offer anything or?
It was really fun and it was nice to hear from like, to learn more about the administrative side of schools. I know I already learned here, but like, it was interesting seeing it from like so many different districts and from, a speaker from a different state. That was really cool.
Yeah,
And then from seeing.
The speaker, I was more engaged than I would have been at any classes that I would have had that day.
It was a 3-hour long.
I did not feel
talk.
like 3 hours.
didn't
He
feel
was,
like
his whole topic was increasing engagement in classrooms and he has it nailed.
He does. We took this like football quiz that NFL players have to take.
The 50 questions, yes.
Yes, I did horrible, but
Me and
it
Joey
was
had a
fun.
strategy.
Yeah.
Well, and I would have to say that Sage, what, you have 50 out of 50?
Without cheating.
Wow.
Yeah, so, yeah, it was a
Oh,
great
NFL,
conference.
You're right, Kim. Yeah, you're ready. You're ready for it.
I would encourage board members next year to give it a try if you possibly can in your schedule. It's 2 really great days of education and focused learning on what our job is and how we work and the opportunity to network with other school board members from across the state is really, really valuable. So, yes.
I have 3 executive sessions in 10 minutes.
So we have 3 executive sessions and 10 minutes. So that's my report. On the 13th of November, new board members, all board members, there's a virtual board training, and I would encourage each of you to sign up. We will send a reminder email so that you will perhaps remember to do that. And the superintendent's report is going to be super fast.
Super fast, just wanted to let you know, I've started doing my informal observations of all first year probationary teachers. I accomplished 2 this week. That's great. Fuller requests, wanted to let you know I'm pushing them all to the website. So that members of the public they're able to actually look at the types of forward requests that are being asked and the material that's being provided. Child Development Services, CDS, you are going to be required to provide services to 3-year-olds starting in 2028. For students that qualify for certain services, speech and language, OT, PT, those sort of things. So we are exploring now when to kind of jump in and begin taking over those services. So I just wanted to give you a heads up that we're working on it. DOE capital construction visit. Last week, Gabe and I spent all day Thursday, all day Friday with 4 people from the Department of Education. They were here walking through all 6 of our buildings, reviewing our school construction applications. 100 applications were submitted to the state. So there's a lot of competition, 100 applications. So we shall see, and we will not hear back until probably June as to how our school buildings ranked. So we'll see. Certainly the high school, the Pittston Randolph, and the middle school. All were,
We had a couple number ones.
we had
Number
definitely
ones
some
for them are
issues.
not good, but.
So, and just to put on everyone's calendar, we once again have the opportunity to have Lynn Lyons here. Lynn Lyons, for some of you who will remember, she was here last year. She focused on anxiety and had a community meeting or a community presentation. That opportunity is available again this year. It's for parents, teachers, students, community members. It's going to be on December 4th from 6 to 8 at the high school in the little theater. And she is going to be focusing on, stress to smartphones, freakouts to friendships, what parents really need to know regarding student worry, anxiety, depression. And we're fortunate that this is being funded by the United Way of the capital of the Kennebec Valley and Healthy Communities of the capital area. So she is phenomenal. Everyone who attended her last year, it was amazing. So we're hoping we have a much better turnout this year. And it is free to all parents, all community members, and you do not have to live in our communities. So if you have friends from the area, surrounding areas, and they want to join us, they absolutely should.
She has a great podcast. If
Yes.
you want to kind of.
She does.
Location for that?
Time or get.
High school.
Yes, she has. a-
High school little theater.
Is
Yeah,
her
she
podcast
does.
on Spotify?
Yes. Probably.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's called Fluster Clock.
I love that.
Clocks, clocks.
Did you practice that?
Fluster Clocks.
I know, right?
So it's very good.
I would never get that out right. I just want to say, that would not happen. Okay,
So that's all that I have.
excellent.
So executive sessions. Have several. But I start with B and C. I want to move to those.
Tell us when you're ready. Okay,
So, motion to make an adjustment to the Gardner Teachers Association collective bargaining agreement for
For stipends
Stipends.
as yeah, I mean, you can even say for lead teachers and GSDA. Yeah, you can be specific.
Yep. So that, an adjustment to that bargaining agreement
so
for lead teachers, yeah.
Second.
second with Joanne. Further questions or comments? All those in favor? Excellent, thank you. Motion to go into executive session to do.
Let's do C.
C, okay.
So move and seconded.
Okay, all those in favor? And this is to discuss compensation for a non-association staff member. One MRSA, section 405. Subsection 6.
Yes, subsection D. Jerry, yeah.
And
Your mic is on.
Yeah, we're waiting, I have
Yeah.
to wait for.
well, we need to,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dave.
it's okay to do the motion and all that. We just have to. All the discussion. Okay, motion. Somebody,
Motion.
Motion to approve compensation for the adult high school position.
The academic.
yeah, academic
Academic
advisor for adult ed. Second?
Second.
Second. Any further questions or comments? All those in favor? You were tempting me, Sean. You were gonna raise your hand quickly. Okay,
Okay.
that's okay. Let's get on it.
Great.
All right, so hope you're all coming to the play. If you're not, I hope you have a great rest of your night. Welcome all and thanks.
Great, thank you.
Just a quick question on like order of business there. When we're in executive session, typically we can have question and answer
Yeah.
after a motion.
Yeah.
Can we, after an executive session,